Ready, Jasmine?
Ready,
Nothing.
SpongeBob.
#1 podcast for 11 straight years.
#1 SpongeBob podcast for kids.
#1 in licensed product sales. Okay.
All of this will make sense in due time. Welcome to the Krusty Kast, the
show.
I don't
the show that we
fucking know.
Yeah, this is the show that we do. There's 4 of us. Let's
We talk
introduce
about
ourselves.
SpongeBob.
We talk about SpongeBob.
Today we're talking about a lot of things.
Yeah. God.
But let's go around the horn, like
Yeah.
we're one to do.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jasmine.
I'm Jesus Christ. I'm Maddie.
It's consumed
Whoa.
I'm Maddie.
Oh yeah, it's me next.
Yeah.
I'm Gwen.
I'm Randall. And today we have 2 episodes in store. A very scary episode that would... No, not that one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a worm, and we're gonna talk about a patty.
We sure are. What's Wormy about? How does this episode start off?
We start.
It's French narrator moment again.
Oh right, yeah.
He's telling us Sandy is going out of town, so SpongeBob and Patrick are, which is very blunt.
Yeah.
I guess this episode didn't have time for a proper opening set piece where Sandy asks SpongeBob to do this for her.
Which, if it were season 1, there would be, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
I love
welcome.
all these animals drawn in the
So,
style.
first, I have a
Oh,
question
pets.
about Sandy's pets, which is
The famous pets. that
they're
have
all
always been there.
relative to her size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not relative. It's really the fucking snake's dinner being a rat that made me think.
Yeah.
Wait a second, that's another rodent.
That should be her
Sandy.
size. The snake should be. We've seen her in her famous movie interact with snakes, and we know
Yeah.
they're much bigger
Yeah,
than her.
you're right.
This isn't actually a complaint at all. This is
No,
the
yeah.
fucking thing that if this episode was made in season 6 and I was a YouTuber in 2010, I'd be complaining about.
That's a good way to put it. It's just
And-
it's a neat little quirk.
And
Yeah.
all of these animals are really adorable looking. You wouldn't expect all of these land creatures that you'd never realistically see in SpongeBob to be so adorable.
Yeah, I'm glad we get to see just a whole smattering of the weird land creatures. There's a tarantula and a snake, and I love the little chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we focus on the little chameleon real quick? I love how
It's-
low detail it is. It's just such a friendly
Little
little
guy.
creature.
He's like a
an
sweet
animal.
boy. So SpongeBob and Patrick are tasked with babysitting Sandy's pets that she's always had.
Yeah.
I wish
It's
she had
the
them in more episodes. It would be so fun. I like animals.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should make another episode about Patrick being a pet sitter. Maybe he could do it with Gary.
They
Oh,
should
that'd
make
be
more episodes
awesome.
of SpongeBob that involve animals. I don't think there's enough animals in this show.
so we get a little gag here where the bird is whistling and Patrick's
right.
whistling along with it. I don't understand the joke here.
Me neither.
I think it's just.
It's a
stupid.
pretty weak first joke in the episode,
Yeah.
but at least
It-
it's a little memorable.
Yeah, it's
Italian.
memorable.
I checked what they did for that in the Italian dub, and apparently they say it's Spanish.
Interesting.
And Sandy, welcome to season 2, Sandy, by the way.
Yeah.
Is this her first appearance in the season?
I think so.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's for an episode she's barely in.
Yeah.
Well, she has lines and dialogue and plot significance, so I'll count it as a
And
Sandy
she went
episode.
south for the winter in Bubble Buddy, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm. Her
And
first
she's going-
physical appearance.
She's going
used
over
town a
all
lot.
the... She really does. she's conveniently nowhere to be seen when they're having all of these adventures. But she's giving them the ins and the outs about how to take care of all the animals here in her tree dome. We get the Italian joke again. And I just want to say I love the cricket. I love the SpongeBob cricket. I think it is adorable.
Yeah, let me put that on screen. Hold on. Little guy.
But they get to one pet in particular that's in a little jar. It's Wormy.
Mhm.
They want to know how they're going to take care of him, and she
I-
tells them that
I'd love
Yeah.
that Wormy is just this like looping animation of the like it's just a gif.
it's a tiny little green. It's basically a gummy worm with like dot
Mhm.
eyes, and they're immediately enraptured
I mean,
by
wouldn't you be?
Wormy.
It's
Look at
I
him.
would
true.
be.
Wormy is so precious.
And so Sandy leaves, and they seemingly only focus on Wormy. Are they even taking care
We
of those
just have-
other animals?
No.
We just have to assume they're feeding the rest of them off screen or something, because they do seem very enraptured with playing with Wormy.
Well, even if they're taking care of the animals, they still don't like care about them as much as they do Wormy.
I mean, do any of the others really matter compared to Wormy?
Well, of course not, but
No.
well, no, the little chameleon.
Yeah,
Why couldn't he? When are we gonna get a season 14 episode about Sandy's chameleon?
Chameleon returns. So they
So-
fucking love Wormy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
so
we
much
get
so that we get a song.
we get the awesome song montage. It's mostly just reused clips of the past minute of the episode.
Is
Yeah.
this song credited to anyone? By
I
the
don't
way,
know.
I
Let me
tried looking
check.
it up. I don't think it's anyone like in particular, just like a sound person on the show.
oh, so they didn't get Ween or Pantera to do this.
Isn't a Ween original now.
It's saying it's by, written by Peter Strauss, performed by Chris von Snydern.
Huh. But yeah, like Gwen said, this whole montage is just like reused clips from half a minute ago
Yeah.
of all the
But-
fun and games they're playing with him.
We do get the really good shots, like them throwing flowers at him, or them like with the heart background.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something so precious about these two and their love of a caterpillar. How
And
they
they
just
make-
decide, this is the best thing ever. This is the new best day of our lives.
It's so cute.
None of the other days have a caterpillar, but this one does.
I love
And
the
they're
like
right for
poetic
that.
dialogue they get after. It's like
Yeah.
savor every moment.
A day like this comes maybe once or twice in a lifetime.
Why must the sun set on such a perfect day? I think like SpongeBob saying it is funny, but Patrick saying it is extra funny because Patrick would not say that.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob reveals to Wormy that he's made him a best friends ribbon to commemorate today. None of the other animals get a best friends ribbon.
That's because they're not
Which is
fucking
sad.
cool like Wormy.
It's true.
Yeah, none of them got a minute-long montage of reused animation.
They should have. It should have just
They
like
should've.
looped by them.
If that was the whole episode was just like montages of them playing with the animals, I would have been happy.
Same.
Yeah, I would have loved that angle a little bit more, but anyhow. They're going home, and they're really
Yeah.
sad about it. We get Patrick Cry.mp4. And SpongeBob's like, "Don't worry, Patrick. He'll be there tomorrow." And then we get the most fucking disgusting part in any SpongeBob episode. I hate the morphing PNG cocoon.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think it looks really cool. But I love bugs
This
and I love
is some
caterpillars.
fast fucking metamorphosis happening right here.
No wonder Sandy was like studying this thing, presumably.
Maybe it is a monster.
Maybe it is. I said this when we were like before recording. I feel like if this episode came out like in season 14 or something, the twist at the end would be that Wormy actually is a monster that's eating people, and it wouldn't really make any internal sense, but it would be a twist.
Yeah.
Anyway, spoilers
So-
for the rest of the episode.
So we get a SpongeBob's room cameo. You know, an
Yeah.
episode's gonna be crazy good when we get to go into his room in
And
his
we'll watch him
bed.
fall asleep or wake up.
Have we gotten any like major sleeping scenes this season.
Have we?
It's kind of
I
hard to
think
remember
we-
because
I
we've
don't
been watching so
remember.
scattered.
Yeah.
I know we had
Yeah.
one in Your Shoes Untied when SpongeBob goes to bed at noon.
That's true.
You know, I really like the bit here where Patrick is just in his clock.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
cute little quick gag.
So they rush back to the tree dome, excited to see Wormy and none of the other animals. But something's changed with Wormy,
Oh no, Wormy's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's replaced by some thing that has wings.
And then we get the bug jump scare.
Yeah, they let the butterfly out of the jar, and we get the most like traumatizing thing to me as a child. I hated horsefly jump scare.
Yeah, that's not a close up of a butterfly, to be clear.
The thing
Like-
is that
That-
like butterflies are actually too cute for this joke to work, so they had to use a different
Yeah.
bug.
Yeah.
And it's the aggressive like foley of the buzzing sound that's really loud.
God, yeah, that's like a bee buzz sound, I think. I've heard that stock sound.
Mm-hmm.
The frantic bug movements and the fact that we get this 2 more times in the episode.
Yeah.
And it terrifies SpongeBob and Patrick, rightfully so. And
Yeah.
they come to the conclusion that this thing is a monster that ate Wormy. And we get a really funny line from Patrick where he's like, "Why does this keep happening to me?"
What? Yeah.
It makes you want to learn his history.
Yeah.
And then for like a minute or two, it turns into a SpongeBob survival horror game where they're running around the tree dome trying to dodge it. And
5 Nights at Wormies.
They have to use an audio distraction.
I like SpongeBob's like really like over expressive scared face when he sees the
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah,
It-
and I took note of something here, which is Patrick has green eyes
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
wait, huh? Oh yeah,
We're
Yeah, what the
skipping through
fuck?
jokes here.
yeah, we are.
Need to talk about their phone plan.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about the lead into that because SpongeBob assumes that the monster has eaten Patrick, and he does his wild take and he runs away into a barrel where we get a fun little exchange where SpongeBob's like, "Patrick, you're alive." "I am."
Yeah.
Patrick's great in this episode.
I've
I think
noticed with
Patrick
the,
might still be the best character ever.
yeah, with the barrel, we get a lot of like inside object and suddenly small scenes in
Yeah,
this, with like the
yes.
boat as well.
Yeah.
And so they have to deduce that this monster is gonna eat Sandy's pets, or worse, it'll eat Sandy's pets. No, it'll eat Sandy. That's another joke that I kind of don't. That's a little understated.
Yeah.
And then they do their series of goofy plans to lure the monster.
Yeah, so like they set up a phone and
I love this joke. It's for
for-
you. The jar just closes on it. And
God.
then we get Patrick live bait moment.
Yeah, this is where he gets his green eyes.
Mhm.
yeah.
You do look pretty appetizing, Patrick.
We
then
also
we
get
get a-
our second bug jump scare, this time upside down.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, it's upside down this time. It's really immersive. Also,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is one of 2 times in the episode where a character like runs away and leaves their underwear behind, which is a bit of a strange little runner.
I didn't
I think
realize
it's funny.
that was multiple times in the episode, but you're right.
So
It's what Bikini Bottomites drop when they're hurt, like Sonic dropping rings.
I mean, it's why it's the health pickup in Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And so Patrick launches himself into the fucking tree, and his helmet fills up with acorns, and he turns into Nutrick. And then SpongeBob is cowering in fear because the monster has cornered him. Then they just let him out.
Yeah.
SpongeBob blows a bubble so it can make this whole thing work. And then the butterfly leaves. And they're safe. But they've made a horrible mistake. They've unleashed a monster onto Bikini Bottom.
Mhm.
So this is
They
like,
got
if you care about story structure, this is probably the biggest problem with the episode, where like it seems like the writers forgot how Sandy's house works and how the entrance like has 2 doors
Yeah.
and like a holding area, which doesn't matter at all, but it's also a little noticeable even if you're just casually looking that like you can
It's
clearly see there's a second door.
it's okay. Wormy can get the other one.
Oh yeah, true.
And so
I mean, not true, but
the horrible monster is now headed straight for the Krusty Krab. And then we
So-
get one of my favorite jokes
Yeah.
in a while. They need to take the secret entrance, which is this giant, like, really conspicuous thing of coral that has like a SpongeBob's house door on the side of it.
Yeah.
And then they go inside, and the exact same coral is just like in the dining area of the Krusty Krab. I really like that bit. Such a good
Yeah.
visual gag. And then we get Squidward and Mr. Krabs taking a photo for some reason.
Something. Yeah.
I want to know what this is probably like a whole different episode that was going on until it got interrupted by this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
This should be like a season 5 style short. Just like, what was going on here?
and so they ruin the photo and they
Yeah,
launch
I gotta pull up something from the wiki because there is
Uh-huh.
an alternate version of this photo that was
Oh.
planned early on with more exaggerated expressions. Let me grab it.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
while you're doing that,
here it is.
okay.
Oh. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, let
Oh,
me
wow.
put that in.
Oh,
Oh my
jeez.
god.
I can see why they changed it a bit.
Yeah!
Wow. Wow, what is this, season 13? They should put this on a t-shirt.
I would wear this on a t-shirt though, yeah.
So we get our second gag where they're all really small inside of a space that's normally not that big.
I don't even know
And
if it's a
SpongeBob
gag, so
and-
much as like stylization.
Yeah. And SpongeBob and Patrick want to just let them know that there's a horrible monster coming to kill them. Just like it ate Wormy.
I don't know if this is like a weird observation for this part, but this part made me realize how nice all these characters look together, like color palette wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all just sitting in this white void. It really makes their colors pop against each other.
This
Yeah.
this whole episode block is really like Mr. Krabs and Squidward's. Because they're always together, well, not always together. They're mostly together for both of these. They're best friends.
They're a duo character here.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so they want to get a good look at this monster. And then Wormy flies in, and Mr. Krabs and Squidward think it's actually kind of cute. And then we get the
Reminds
horse
me
like...
of money.
I
Would
love,
be
I
the
love that
stupidest
line.
line in the episode.
And so they're terrified now.
Mhm.
Also, the fucking shot where their like eyes explode is like way scarier to me than anything like wormy related in the episode.
I'm
Maybe they're the
surprised-
monsters.
I'm surprised nobody's used that image in like a terrible
Creepypasta.
SpongeBob creepypasta.
Yeah.
Squidward's like hollow eyes.
Well, we should write one then.
Oh, that'd be a good
I
middle
can-
segment. Not this time, but like
Not this time, but
There are creepypastas about this episode, I believe. But it's like about something I'll get to later.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Patrick's face.
No, yeah. SpongeBob and Patrick look and see after they hear the screams, and they see that all the Squidward Mr. Krabs are left behind is Squidward's hat and their underwear, which they drop. The universal sign of someone being attacked by a monster.
Yeah, like Squidward's doesn't even have like 4 leg holes because
No.
it's like
Squidward
the
doesn't have pants.
because
what
it's
do you
the-
mean? Squid's got jeans.
Oh yeah.
it's the classic like cartoon tidy whities thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode I've noticed has like a lot of like really good shocked expressions. Like
Yeah.
no one horrified expression is drawn similarly.
I
I
really like
love-
SpongeBob's little finger puppets.
Yeah,
Same. They're so good.
he's always had them. And so the monster ate Squidward and Mr. Krabs because they're not in the episode anymore.
Yeah. They did die.
And so they need to go warn the rest of the town. And then we get another funny gag where Patrick turns on the boat register. They leave the Krusty Krab.
I love Patrick here, how he's just like. uh,
And I like this net scene because they're going to Bikini Bottom and they're trying to warn everybody, but SpongeBob's like, "Okay, Patrick, we have to let them know in like the most subtle and like controlled way." And then they just yell, "Run, run, there's a monster that's gonna kill us."
yeah.
Everyone freaks out. And the
I
rest of the episode, huh?
I like this sequence because you get to see a lot of Bikini Bottom incidentals, which is always
Oh
fun.
yeah.
I have a question, and I
Mhm.
genuinely forgot. Is this like our first big Bikini Bottom mass hysteria moment? No, because we had fucking Bubble Buddy earlier this
Yeah.
season. Thanks for
This
answering
is
my
where
own question, me.
this is where the Bikini Bottomites really went into their mob era.
Yeah.
But this time they're not an angry mob. They're a terrified mob, and this is essentially the rest of the episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
hmm
It's just various scenes of SpongeBob and Patrick like scaring them. I love the part where Patrick's just like up in the air riding on SpongeBob. There's a terrifying flying monster that's going to eat you. And it's just a bunch of fun scenes where people are freaking out and dying.
Scared and yelling.
There's this stoplight gag, which I swear has been used in like 2 or 3 episodes since.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the gross chair guy that's watching the TV, but it's not facing the TV. He's just watching it.
Yeah,
Oh,
wait, what the fuck? Hold on.
Why does he live like this?
This is such a fascinating setup.
And now the entire city's on fire and everybody's
Mhm.
terrified, and we get this standout line of the episode where amidst all the chaos, SpongeBob says, "We did it, Patrick. We saved the city." And then we get another kind of long sequence where they're running away, and then we get the stoplight gag, which is really good. And then it just kind of
We get this
this-
horrifying shot where like they run right at the camera and SpongeBob's
Mhm.
mouth gets really detailed.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then
I love
And
shots
then-
where characters just run straight at the camera. I just think they're always funny.
yeah, this is a very character does something right up to the camera kind of episode.
Anyway, the town is fucking destroyed. I don't know if you noticed, but
Yeah.
there were like meteors crashing down, by the way, in the
Yeah.
background. I love those. Sandy comes down and is shocked to see that the town is like in ruin.
And then Wormy shows up, and Sandy's like, "Hey, Wormy, you weren't supposed to change until I got back." And then she opens up an empty jar she has on her, and puts Wormy in there, and everybody's ecstatic. Sandy saved them from the monster.
But the real monster.
She gives
And-
the closing line
okay.
to the episode. I should go out of town more often.
Yeah, let's talk about the real monster of this episode here.
Hold on, there's something I have to say before we get there, which is so I remember having like this Leapfrog book as a kid, which had an adaptation of this episode, and I distinctly remember that at the end they had Sandy like explain the concept of metamorphosis to the audience.
Oh.
Oh my god, alternate ending?
Alternate ending. They had to make it educational.
Instead of giving them a lecture, Sandy opts to remove Patrick's face.
Yeah. As punishment.
Yeah, it's a weird animation glitch, like right at the end of the episode, where everybody after everybody's lifting up SpongeBob and Sandy, Patrick is behind them, and gradually he loses parts of his face until he has none.
Until he's just a pink lump.
God.
And that was this episode.
Yeah.
So what did we all think of Wormy?
I think Wormy's a pretty good episode. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Get a lot of fun Bikini Bottom chaos. Get a good worm moment.
Mhm.
I don't know,
What do you-
it's fun. Has some solid jokes throughout. good sense of pacing and chaos. I
Mhm.
dig it. I think it's like a 6.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 too. As much as I was scared of it as a kid, this is a very good episode for like comedy and moments and just it makes. Why the hell would she leave them with the I get animals? Anyway,
I mean, the
good
narrator did
setup.
ask. Maybe she should have asked somebody else.
Yeah.
Sandy just doesn't have friends.
Yeah.
He hasn't met her gal pals yet.
True.
Mrs.
What
Puff
did
would have
you
never let this shit happen.
What did you give it, Maddie?
A 6.
Oh, okay.
I also gave it. I'm probably just also gonna give it a 6. It's a very solid episode. I was smiling throughout it. It has a lot of good jokes. It's very funny and memorable. They even sing a song.
They even
Mhm.
sing a song.
What more
That's
can you
what
ever
friends
ask for?
do.
I think it's a really solid episode. I was teetering between a 5 and a 6. I'll probably give it a 5. I think it's a really good one, but there's not really anything about it that really pops to me besides being terrified of it as a kid.
Yeah.
But it's a solidly funny episode that I can't think of anything wrong with. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
A good episode.
Mhm.
So, as we all know, back to school season is just right around the corner,
Right around the corner.
and we are nothing if not educational and a positive influence here at the Krusty Kast podcast.
Mhm.
So we want to pass on to you, all of our viewers, a way that you can make your back to school season fun.
Let's cue it up.
And we're gonna get a little help.
The #1 cable network,
score right
11
there.
straight years. #1 entertainment brand for kids. #1 in licensed
Nick
product sales.
Jr. That's still
Product
Nick.
sales.
Website for kids. And the most watched kid show in
Voice.
history, starring SpongeBob
I love these.
SquarePants.
Tom Kenny kind of fell off.
I love it's just dubbing over some lines.
SpongeBob,
Like, why?
back to school? No! Back to school is
He hates
exciting,
school.
SpongeBob.
Pause.
You learn new
Go back.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting, SpongeBob.
The most like plaintive expression on his face.
This
It is also in
this
his underwear.
might-
So, so for context, we don't know what this is. Its title is like Nickelodeon Kellogg's Back to School Fundraiser 2007.
yeah,
But
it's
we
a
think
Kellogg's.
it's supposed to be as like a video they show. It's like teachers telling them that they're gonna do like a Kellogg's and Nickelodeon fundraiser.
Yeah, that's what fascinates me about this video
Yeah.
is who is the target audience? Because, like, if it's for adults, then why do you need these terrible impressions? But if it's for
Yeah.
kids, then why the fuck would they care about
And
number
if it's for-
one in
Media
licensed
growth.
product sales?
Yeah, that first part reads like an investor pitch almost.
But it's read by like someone doing a terrible like Mr. Blick impression. What's also great is if this features like the 2007 greats of Nickelodeon, which includes Cat Scratch and the X's.
Was the
Yeah.
X's even on around 2007? Like even the reruns?
I was watching Nickelodeon in 2007, and I have never seen a single episode of the X's. I even watched Nicktoons in 2007, and I still don't think I've ever seen a single episode of the X's.
I don't think this
Wait.
was like a real show.
It was made up entirely for
you
this
learn
commercial.
New things, meet new people, and get cool new stuff. We're gonna take back to
Then
school and make
the
it
shot
Why
of the
is it
kids like
showing-
fighting
why is-
over the backpack.
Why is it showing like an
Cool new
actual
stuff.
fight?
Yeah, what?
We're gonna
There's a
take
lot of
back
fun
to school
stuff
and
here,
make
like-
it fun by teaming up Nickelodeon
These
and
Kids beating you up with towels.
Kellogg's for a wild back to school 2007 promotion.
How can you make going back to school fun?
Well, let's look at the program.
I love
Look at these
that
cool Nick pencil
SpongeBob hates
toppers.
school.
They're us, and they've all got color-changing hair. Look
I like that it's a SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mr. Blick.
It's
The
us.
Titans of Nickelodeon.
changing hair.
Look, Patrick, your hair is changing color.
Awesome. And
Awesome.
Color.
He's not even eating Frosted Flakes.
And there's a Nick Challenge,
You
a
hack.
crazy event that rewards kids for completing 10 fun activities
Apparently,
in 1 week.
this guy is voiced by Patrick Warburton. This is a Patrick Warburton impression.
What?
The challenge and get a free Nick
I
DVD.
can hear it, you know? It's close.
Can we have a contest to see who can do this the longest?
Patrick, look who gets to drive the school bus
I
display.
don't know if I ever
Oh
saw
my god,
Cat
look who gets to
Scratch
drive the school
either.
bus.
Display.
I love how much this also seems to suck ass. Like, they're
Yeah.
hyping up, like, the color changing hair, and, like, SpongeBob gets to drive the
Hang
school
on.
bus.
This snack
Go back to
school
that
bus-
frame. Can you please go back to that frame? There's a lot I need to
Display.
dissect about this. Okay, first off, you can tell this is supposed to be Tentacle Acres, but they poorly cut off the
Yeah.
top there and replaced it with the sky. Second off, look at the top. Famous Cat Scratch character patch.
The SpongeBob inside the
X's
bus.
drive the school bus.
The
I don't know
SpongeBob in
if
the bus is
I
also
ever saw
moving.
Cat Scratch
The school bus
either.
display.
Like, I knew it
Hey.
existed because there was this Flash game for it I really liked, but I don't know if I ever saw it on.
And just how gigantic the school bus is compared to them.
Yeah!
No way.
This snack school bus is going to make going to school a blast.
What?
School a blast.
Well, Patrick's not that excited. I thought he was gonna be with
Whoa,
SpongeBob.
nice rhyme.
Ah, this is just all
Nice
too
rhyme.
great. Let's
I like how they replay the
going to school a blast.
Whoa, nice rhyme.
Ah, this is just all too great. Let's kick it off by sliming someone.
I love slime, but
So
all those
what?
people might not know what slime is.
Good point,
We
Patrick.
don't-
Let's
Good
see
point.
I don't know what
Patrick.
slime is.
them.
You might not know what slime is. In case you didn't know what slime is, it's
Slime,
this.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, how about we slime someone you all know and love? Ready, Kevin?
Ready,
Who the fuck is
SpongeBob.
Kevin?
Someone we all know with love.
Yeah, who is this? Is this like a Kellogg's guy?
Someone you all know and love.
Oh, and love.
Kevin.
Ready, Kevin?
Ready,
Right.
SpongeBob.
Do your thing.
It's not slime.
You didn't think Kevin would really let us slime him, do you?
I need to be honest, when I was first watching this, I thought that glitter was their sad excuse for slime because
slime
this
doesn't
has
look
like
right.
No.
half
It's
of
very
a
chunky.
this has
Oh.
like half of a singular production value at most.
This image goes hard.
God, he looks like he wants to die so bad when they slime him.
They put the Breaking Bad filter on him.
To be honest, I don't know if I'd want to. I'd probably also feel like I want to die if I got slimed. I'd hate
Seems
that
unpleasant.
texture. It feels like
Yeah.
sensory hell.
It would
I don't know
take
why they made
days
that like
for
their
that.
brand for like decades. Do they still slime people?
Do they still slime
I don't
people?
know.
Also, I hope
Alright.
you all like the background music. We like cut out the music because we didn't want to get copyright claimed, but we left in the vocals. So I hope you all enjoyed hearing.
Yeah.
Do your thing, ba, 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 ba.
Okay, we urge you to watch this thing with the music because
Yeah.
our version here doesn't do it justice. You need the
You
the
the folks-
background music.
God.
I hope that Kellogg's and Nickelodeon truly do make Back to School 2007 such a blast.
We're
Yeah.
making back to school fun. And what does that entail? Is the only thing that you get from that like a pencil topper of Cat Scratch's Mr. Blick?
With
among
I
hair.
mean,
others.
you could also
I like
get
how
a
like this is the
3D
worst
DVD.
like prize they could ever give you.
Yeah.
But they change their hair changes color.
Do they let you get to choose the pencil topper if you want like
No.
a Patrick one, but you get a Mr. Blick one? Is that like that would ruin your back to school, honestly.
Uh,
But yeah, I can't think of where they would have shown this because like obviously they didn't put a lot into it considering how none of the voices showed up. It was all like looped animation that they just put like Frosted Flakes boxes into.
They put some editing in it. They had SpongeBob drive the school bus. They had SpongeBob sitting on Timmy Turner's couch.
Okay, so we've made back to school fun.
Yeah.
However, there is a way that you can make back to school funds.
Oh, we can talk about this is the perk segments. So this is like this is like a mini segment, but it's more of like a question to the audience. Has anyone here like heard of Crayola pizza?
What?
I have not until you brought it up tonight.
Yeah.
So like my school at least did this fundraiser thing where like there was like pizza brochures you could sell. You have people order like these frozen pizzas, I guess, and one of them that were selling around the early 2000s was Crayola pizza, which is like pizza, but all the like sauce and the crust and stuff were like these disgusting artificial Crayola colors.
Oh, right.
And like I can find like very little evidence of this existing, just like a couple of very low quality images.
Oh, that's real nice.
And I have like eaten one of these. Like it was really gross and unappetizing. I had like the one in the top right there with like that had like the red crust and the green sauce. The green sauce is I'm pretty sure it tasted like tomato sauce basically, but it wasn't very good, and it also looked like green goop.
Is that like rice? What is that?
It's cheese. It's like shredded cheese.
Oh.
Yeah. So is this before it was cooked?
Yeah, this is before it was cooked.
Oh.
I suppose.
If
Hopefully.
you're going for like a flag thing, it's not going to stay like that. The cheese is going to
No.
melt all over that. You're just going to have blue crust with like, what's that in the corner? What is that made of in the corner?
That's
Is that
I think
crust?
that's like I think that's the different type of sauce, and then like so it's like the green sauce is like the blue part of the American flag, I guess. You can tell even in this little image with the two pizzas, they're struggling to come up with like ways this could be cool. Because the other one they just make like a weird goblin with broccoli hair, I guess.
Yeah, what the hell is that? What? I don't.
So like, this is like the only image I can find of this, basically. So if any of you in the audience have heard of this, or especially if you've like had it yourself, let me know that I'm not like alone in the world. And you might be thinking, why is the SpongeBob podcast talking about weird colored food? Well, that's because I thought of it because of what happens to be the next episode in this block.
That is a crisp fucking title card image.
I'm surprised.
That's Ultra HD. That's like 50K.
Yeah, you want to see how far I can like zoom this in? Here's the like. This is just a screen cap, but this is me screen capping, like having it zoomed in.
Oh my god.
Shit.
They should put this in the Louvre.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time to talk about Patty hype.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode starts with good old destitute Krusty Krab moment.
Which is one of the famous things the show likes to do, that sometimes the Krusty Krab is like the thing keeping the whole town together, and other times it's a shitty place that nobody wants to go eat.
Why does Plankton want to steal the formula so much if this place looks like this?
Yeah, like it's.
I do like the vibes of like the ruined Krusty Krab in this episode, though. I like the like muted color palette.
Yeah, the Krusty Krab looks terrible. There's dirt and cobwebs everywhere, and apparently, it's been. Nobody's come to the Krusty Krab in 36 days.
I'm pretty sure if that happened, it would be, like, closed forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, good on SpongeBob and Squidward for still coming in, though.
It's, like, a very oddly specific and, like, unreasonable amount of time, but, like, I just thought it was a weird number to choose. Anyway, we get famous, beloved character, Starving Man, crawling in.
Yeah, awesome dying guy.
Isn't this Frank? Isn't this Squidward's good friend, Frank?
Yeah,
this
I
might
guess
be Frank.
It is.
Yeah.
Frank has fallen off so hard since dying for pie.
And Mr. Krab sees a dying man and wants to sell him food. But the dying man but the dying man doesn't want the food.
because the atmosphere at the Krusty Krab sucks that bad. I love this scene so much. I think
kind
this
of a
is
perfect joke.
I think this might be the highlight of the episode for me. Like,
They-
I just love the joke of a starving man. Who just refuses an offer for food because
I love what he says. What's this place's theme? Underwater?
yeah,
Yeah, like
Like it kind of is. And it's a good point. Why'd he make his underwater restaurant themed so nautical stuff?
yeah.
That's just such a good bit. It's got layers.
And so we get the iconic line of food, water, atmosphere, which is an all-timer, I think.
And Mr. Krabs is like, I don't need atmosphere, but then he's proven wrong by Fred and Green Tom.
Shiny
Yeah.
Tom.
Why does he
Shiny
look
Tom.
like this?
I think this is the episode that establishes he's named Fred, right? Like, this is why
You're right.
This is the one that made him Fred to the fan base before they just properly adopted it as that guy's name.
But it's not fully formed yet because this isn't Doug Lawrence Fred. This is a Carlos Ali's Rocky Fred.
Oh shit.
And
Doug Lawrence is Tom though, right?
maybe
Is that Doug Lawrence? I'm not sure actually. I'm just like
it kind of sounded like D. Bradley Baker to me.
it might have been. I don't know.
Why is he green?
Why
does
is
he look like
He's
this?
always-
Yeah.
He's always green.
No, but like
Oh.
he's like mint.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a beautiful seafoam green.
Did he already eat the pretty patties?
Oh my god, that's where SpongeBob got the idea.
Yeah.
And so
Like go to see the talking dog.
at the Shell Shack? The
Oh, that's
Shell
where-
Shack is fascinating to me. Like, I don't think it ever really comes up again, but oh my god.
huh.
Continuity. Something Maddie put on screen, but we didn't really talk about, is the store for dogs that shows up in Wormy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. There is a dog store in the background, so like, and like Tom remarks here, he doesn't know what a dog is. So like, this brings a lot of more and more questions onto the place of dogs in Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
Is there my headcanon is that it's like a dog that's also a Sandy situation where it's a mammal that lives underwater, but we don't hear about him
Yeah,
ever.
we don't get his story.
There's
Like,
like a
Penny the
it's
Cat?
like that store sell dogs, or does like is it
Is it
owned
for
by
dogs?
the talking dog? Is it for dogs?
What kind of dogs? Is it regular dogs? Is it hot dogs?
Could be hot dogs. We just don't know.
SpongeBob Mysteries, the dog's store. So Mr. Krabs is lamenting the fact that nobody wants to eat at his dumb, stupid restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
And so
Anyway,
Mr.
he gets a
Krabs,
great idea.
Mr. Krabs has the best possible idea for the situation.
This might be my favorite joke in the episode.
He assembles a large crowd of people. He hires a band, and his big thing to drum up customers is he's going to bury himself alive in his parking lot.
I think what makes this for me like the whole band is playing and like everyone is actually super excited about this. And then fucking Fred shows up again. It's the talking dog at the Shell Shack is singing.
Come on! And they all leave.
And then
And
there's
this-
like a beat, and then they play the wow, wow, with perfect comedic timing. I love this. This is such a good like 30-second clip for no
Yeah.
reason. This is his only idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be like a montage of poorly defined ideas, that this would be like the last most desperate one, but this is what he defaulted to, is burying himself alive.
Yeah. That Mr. Krabs is dead now. It's fine.
And so
Episode
we go
over.
back
That's
into
how
the
the episode ends.
we go back into the Krusty Krab, and they didn't want to draw the Krusty Krab looking shitty again, so it looks
Yeah.
normal now. And Mr. Krabs is desperate for ideas, and SpongeBob's trying to get his attention. And then we get an interesting line from Mr. Krabs here, or at least one I think is interesting, where he says, "Sweet Neptune in heaven."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What's the theology here?
Like the mention of heaven and SpongeBob dressed up like the an artistic depiction of a Christian angel as it's more
Hmm.
proof that Mr. Krabs is Catholic.
Yeah.
What else is proof is that he's homophobic in this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're about to get to that. So SpongeBob's got an idea and he wants to show it off. It's pretty patties.
Yeah, he shows off a green Krabby Patty, and Mr. Krabs automatically assumes it's tainted.
Then
It's
we
He
get a
tries to
really
burn it.
we get a really funny like split-second bit where Mr. Krabs just has a flamethrower and he burns it.
I like this whole like weird like visual gag escalation where he like burns with a flamethrower, but SpongeBob has a fireproof suit, and then he like
Yeah.
engulfs himself in flames to change form.
It's not tainted meat. It's painted meat. Which I need to ask this, and it's going to be more of a question later. How is SpongeBob making these?
Yeah.
It's not, we never really know. I guess it's a secret for the ages.
Because like we
Obscene
see,
amounts of food coloring.
no, but like when he makes his stand later, he doesn't have a grill or like ingredients.
Oh yeah.
He just kind of
Well,
has these lying around.
Mhm.
He's had this idea on the back burner for ages. He just needed an excuse to show them off. Maybe those patties really are spoiled.
I feel like it might just be that this episode is kind of poorly defined in its plot.
Yeah, and so you go ahead.
Yeah, they all see his pretty patties and laugh at him and make fun of him because it's the stupidest idea anyone's ever had.
And we get Squidward in this part just to kind of like hammer home that they're being overly mean here. And that's kind of the theme of this episode.
I don't really
Yeah.
like this scene. The scene did give us bow tie French fries and all, but I think this isn't a very good scene because it's way too mean without any actual like substance. There's no like explanation why they think this is a bad, stupid idea. It's kind of taken for granted.
Yeah, it is a little odd. Like Mr. Krabs, your great idea was burying yourself alive. And though to be fair, it did draw in a crowd.
That's true.
I
And
just
so-
feel like it isn't very well defined. Literally, the only thing I can think of is how this makes sense is like putting myself in like early 2000s homophobic mindset and being like, oh, the rainbow patties are for gays.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can like reason this makes sense.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I'd want to eat a green patty either. It doesn't look appetizing.
Hasn't other like restaurants
But they don't
done
really.
this?
They don't even really like say like they look unappetizing. They just say they look ridiculous or something. They don't really like give an explanation for why they think they're ridiculous.
Mhm.
I mean, Mr. Krabs does say the patties are spoiled.
Yeah, but
before
like
he
this is
tries-
past that. This is when he's looking at all of
I
them.
know.
And it is a kind of a weird through line that like not just Mr. Krabs, but later on another character would say the same thing. Like this is some kind of ridiculous off the wall kind of idea.
Yeah, it just bothers me slightly. I think it holds this episode back a good deal. That like it doesn't feel like it has that much of a hook to it, you know?
And then we end this act in a really unpleasant and not fun note as SpongeBob is actually crying because they relentlessly mock his idea that he's proud of. And then he
This is, like,
leaves. He
The first SpongeBob crying episode. This is a big episode for SpongeBob crying fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it kind of picks up here because we get a funny Patrick scene when he storms home. And
Yeah.
Patrick's just Patrick's standing in his yard really mad.
There's one thing I want to mention though. Squidward is not in this episode now.
No.
No, Squidward's gone.
They mentioned him a bit, but this is the last we'll see of Squidward. I hope you
You
enjoyed him.
need to put angry Patrick on screen, Maddie.
I
Okay.
hate that Patrick that you just put on there now. I hate how he looks.
Yeah. Patrick
So-
with
Patrick mad because he can't see his forehead.
I love that joke, by the way. Where it's like the storyboard artists drew this angry looking Patrick and they needed a reason for him to be angry and they were just he can't see his forehead. I think
Yeah.
that's good.
And then SpongeBob's like, Patrick, do you have an idea that people say is really dumb? He's like, of course I do. And then we get inflatable pants.
Really?
Foreshadowing. We get some foreshadowing here.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob pitches to Patrick his idea for pretty patties, and then his pants exploded. We get a public nudity scene.
Mhm.
And Patrick's like, my idea was dumb. Let's do your thing. And so they set up a stand in SpongeBob's yard. Another instance of SpongeBob stand in his yard humor.
This might be the second and like only time until like Ink Lemonade.
Yeah.
And then we get a kind of a weird scene where SpongeBob is rotting and getting older because nobody's buying his Krabby Patties. It was all a dream. He had a horrible death dream.
This part of the episode is a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's focused on jokes that aren't quite as funny. I like Patrick's watch that he has to draw a battery for, I guess.
Yeah. Patrick's
And we-
watch is good.
We get kind of a diminishing returns joke with this, where Patrick tells SpongeBob he needs to look inside himself. And then Patrick crawls in there, and I guess his
I
pants
really
inflate.
remembered a joke about Patrick having to light a match while inside Sponge, and I do think that's an actual joke in the show, but I guess it's a later episode.
Yeah, I think that's a different episode because I remember
Yeah.
that too.
And he exits SpongeBob, and the joke fizzles out. But then we get full-suited Harold.
Yeah.
Full-
Dressed
suited
man disguised
Harold.
Harold. He looks kind of handsome.
He is. He cleans up well.
Incidental smasher pass.
Add that to
Oh.
the pile.
This
Oh,
is a necessary middle segment.
Yeah.
Or even like a full bonus video.
yeah.
Anyway, SpongeBob shows off his green patty again, and he gets laughed at and mocked by Harold and also Patrick because it's such a ridiculous idea.
That thing's green.
This one I like a little more because it's a lot more like juvenile and it's just like that thing's
Yeah.
green, haha, green. Patrick's like, haha, green.
Yeah. And then SpongeBob gets sad again, and he shows
And-
off his easel.
His palette.
His palette, and this is the worst part of the episode. This is the part where Harold is like, "Is that purple? Purple's my favorite color." They takes the one that isn't purple.
That seriously
Yeah.
isn't purple.
Are you sure? It looks purple to me.
No,
Well, I would
look,
say,
like
like-
holding it out of context, it looks purplish, but like in the context of like
If-
the palette, that's
yeah.
obviously the blue one.
Yeah, if the other purple didn't exist, then yes, it would be purple, but here it is blue.
It is definitely blue.
It's
Yeah,
meant to
maybe-
be the blue one.
Maybe he's colorblind.
He might be
Yeah.
colorblind. That's what I'm gonna tell myself.
Purple is his favorite drink.
Or I like
Purple
your,
is
what
my
you said
favorite
that
color.
like like purple's his favorite color, but not his favorite flavor. He's a layered character.
Yeah. And so he eats it and he loves it. How like it's a burger still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it just taste the same as a normal Krabby Patty?
Ooh, actually,
Oh.
my assumption is
right.
yes, but I need to rewind to the start of the episode with the
Yes.
starving man, because he seems to recognize Krabby Patties as like a generic concept, and Mr. Krabs
Yeah.
reaffirms it with the finest under the sea. So, like,
Yeah,
Huh.
is the Krusty
like-
Krab the only place where you can get a Krabby Patty, or does he just have like his own special recipe for them?
yeah, because you'd assume it's like a Whopper,
Right.
like it's a special name for their special burger. But in this sort of kind of seems like it treats it like Krabby Patties are a type of sandwich.
Yeah.
Because SpongeBob does just kind of make his own here, and it's
Yeah.
like it's
Did he
very
steal the formula?
cringy.
Technically,
I mean, he has to know it, right? Did they ever establish that he knows the formula,
I don't know.
or did he make his
No.
own a new formula, and it's terrible, and that's why the end of the episode happens?
God, it's hard to say. These are the SpongeBob mysteries that keep us up at night.
So anyway, he eats it, and he loves how purple it is, and he tells everybody.
Yeah.
He just yells it into the
Pretty patties
into
are
the
the
ether. And
pretty good.
that's enough for people to hear, because suddenly SpongeBob's so very successful.
And then we cut back to the Krusty Krab, where the entire restaurant is just covered in giant spider webs now, which I think is really funny. And Mr. Krabs is sitting in his office watching TV.
He's
With
watching
his-
amoeba soap operas
Yeah, with
with
his
his spider who's crying along with him, which I think that's a good little visual gag.
I
think
like the
this-
spider.
I
He's a
think the
pet.
spider should have came back.
I like the spider like stealing his shit. I just noticed that
Yeah.
the spider has eyes.
Yeah.
Shot. That's
He-
weird.
He doesn't look like Sandy's spiders though. And we get a funny little bit where it's like a soap opera and it's like two parameciums splitting. I have to tear us apart. But then breaking news. Pretty patties.
It's kind of funny. There's a breaking news broadcast in the middle of a soap opera about
Yeah.
how awesome this sandwich is.
And so
Anyway.
we show off the pretty patties have become a huge success. And we get a bunch of like fun bits featuring the characters eating them.
I like the like group of 3 women who are all voiced by Tom Kenny doing a slightly different woman voice.
Yeah.
They match our purses.
Yeah, she's got hair now.
There's
She's
Marge.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah, we have
Marge.
Marge, and we're about to get
Awesome.
groundskeeper Willie because we get awesome Scottish fish that should have shown up more.
This Scottish fish is kind of awesome. He also really likes Larry flexing. Larry doesn't even get like a joke. He just flexes.
Yeah, he just says pretty patties rule, and that's his explanation for why he loves them.
Mhm.
I have to say that the really vascular Larry is probably one of the funniest drawings in SpongeBob to me.
Yeah, like usually these like big veiny SpongeBob drawings aren't that appealing to me, but there's something about this one. I think it's the contest of just showing up and doing this as a positive thing. Is this the first Larry of season 2?
It might be.
Yeah.
I don't think he was in
Wow.
Bubble Bass, was he? No, he was in Bubble Bass.
Bubble Buddy?
Bubble Bass?
Bubble Butt. I'm sorry.
Was he in Bubble Buddy?
Let me double
Yes.
check. Yes, because of the bubble butt thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this isn't the first Larry.
I apologize for reminding the audience of Bubble Bass.
In Bubble Butt. Anyway, I like SpongeBob in this bit where he's so unassuming.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
I don't know, and I like him like giving money away. He's kind of based.
I love the terrible toothy smile that Patrick has in this scene.
It's like
God.
it's so similar to Smile Word.
And so
Yeah, SpongeBob and Patrick, they're just making so much money off their brilliant idea that...
they don't know what to do with it. They've tried burying it, shredding it, and even burning it, which makes Mr. Krabs die.
Yeah.
But in the end, they decide to just give it all away. They're redistributing the wealth.
He's kind of based. We love he's SpongeBob communism moments.
Like, if you really think about it, SpongeBob doesn't really take value in money ever. There's
Like,
never
yeah,
really a
he works at the
moment.
Krusty Krab out of fulfillment, even though he gets paid like 1 dime a year.
Like, we never see SpongeBob get, like, greedy or do anything
Yeah.
for the money.
Not until Poorest Pockets.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, even then, he gives all his money away.
That is true. Like, an interesting observation. The
And so-
anti-capitalist nature of SpongeBob, anyway.
So, Mr. Krabs needs to see what this is all about. So he runs out of his restaurant, but there's a line that's formed right up to his front door. And then Mr. Krabs says that he's never had a line, which I'm sure that's not true.
Yeah.
Then he goes down there, and like a sea of fish is surrounding SpongeBob's house. They all want these things. And then this is where the episode gets weird because
Yeah.
remember how Patrick was in this episode at one point?
He's just not
Gone.
here.
He just, like Squidward, he just disappears.
My headcanon is that Squidward and Patrick went to the Shake Shack or the Shell Shack to see the talking dog. It's especially
Or-
weird here because like this whole in this part they like exchange the Pretty Patty stand for the Krusty Krab. And it's totally like acted like SpongeBob is like the sole owner and proprietor of Pretty Patties.
Mhm.
My headcanon here is that Patrick knew that the pretty patties were doing things to people, so he just fled town to escape the heat.
He got out of town?
Yeah.
He sure did. And so Mr. Krabs is pretty envious of SpongeBob's success. He does like a really fake, insincere smile that I've always this could have been a good end to this episode. Like Mr. Krabs realizes that yeah, maybe SpongeBob is more capable than he seems, and it was wrong of him to shoot down his idea. And we could have had like, you know, a little bit of character stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead,
This is a bit of a like greedy, mean Mr. Krabs that people could criticize a lot for the later seasons, but it's just showing up here.
like, and it seemed like it was gonna go that direction for a little bit, where like
Mhm.
he's playing to SpongeBob's emotions by saying that don't you miss the Krusty Krab just a little bit? And then Mr. Krabs just decides he's
just
gonna
like full villain
trade.
mode in this.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, I think
No,
this is
I think
like,
I'm fine with Mr. Krabs being a bit backhanded. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm fine with the
Yeah, I
concept, but I just
guess.
don't think it's executed very well here. I think
that's
it like
fair.
they like make him pretty unlikable, but not like enough where it's not like in a super entertaining or interesting way, and it still doesn't feel like the ending of the episode is that like rewarding for how he's
Yeah,
acting here.
he's not been fun pretty much this entire episode. He's just been like an enormous jerk the whole time, and I don't want to cry like, oh, it's jerk ass Mr. Krabs or something, but like, I don't know.
It's not a very enjoyable characterization, and like, yeah, I
So
think part of the
do
problem. I
like-
guess I'll talk about more when we get into like the ending.
I
Mhm.
do like when he's just telling SpongeBob about all the things he misses from the Mr. Krabs, that he treats Squidward as just like something that
Mr.
comes with the
Krabs.
restaurant.
Yeah, when he gives the ownership, he's like, "You can have Squidward."
And like that's another thing. Maybe it could have been another part of the episode where Mr. Krabs and Squidward like double down, have them both be jerks and get their comeuppance. Like they
Yeah.
take over the stand here.
Oh god,
And
you know what would have
SpongeBob
been
and
good?
Patrick.
I have thoughts. But let's get to the ending first.
Mhm.
Before I do that, I want to say I do enjoy this scene where like SpongeBob is celebrating having the Krusty Krab. I think he does cute stuff.
Yeah.
Like him using the phone.
Yeah.
Well, there was also a little joke beforehand where SpongeBob talks about squeaking pickles that comes back.
We gotta mention that
Yeah.
because it's like a Chekhov gun.
And so he's at the Krusty Krab now, and the day passes. Mr. Krabs is ready for his money, but things are not as they seem, Mr. Krabs. Everybody shows up and they're pissed off because it turns out the pretty patties do all kinds of like horrible things to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just it's a turn for this episode to take, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
like
guess maybe that's what bothers me more than Mr. Krabs being a jerk, because, like, I feel like this doesn't really tie into Mr.
Yeah.
Krabs' greeder.
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah, it's-
kind of thinking of. Is like it isn't like a fitting punishment for him because he didn't do anything like wrong to get punished for. It's not like punishing for him for what he did wrong. If anything, it's like
Yeah.
justifying that he was right and he should have been cruel to the pretty patties because they apparently are awful.
Yeah, I
It's like
didn't
punishing
consider
him
that
for
angle.
like learning his lesson, I guess.
Hmm.
Like you could argue that it's like punishing him for like taking control of a business that isn't his, but like I feel like they could have been better if he like there's not enough time in the episode for this probably, but if he took control of the pretty patties and then like did stuff to make it like worse and like
Yeah,
lower the
cost
quality.
cutting measures. Like I'll make more money if I just stop doing so and so and replace it with so and so. And
Like, I also can't really do that because it's not really like well defined how the pretty patties are made or how they work.
yeah,
But, like you
Yeah.
know, that would have been a better story.
as to why the pretty patties even do these things to people. I do kind of like the jokes with them though. Like the Scottish guy is all plaid
Yeah.
underneath his kilt.
Yeah.
The tongue thing where the guy flicks off the light to the universe so he can
And-
show off his glow in the dark tongue.
Yeah, and then he turns it back on. Mr. Krabs is gone. I think that's pretty clever. That's really clever.
Yeah.
and Mr. Krabs is running away from an angry mob.
Another angry mob episode.
He
And
goes to the
he's trying
Krusty
to get
Krab.
SpongeBob to let him into the Krusty Krab, but SpongeBob can't hear him behind the squeaking pickles.
And this is the end of the episode.
Yeah,
This is the
we
end
get-
of the
yeah.
episode.
This is the
ends
most
there.
that's the ending to this kind of ending.
It's a weird ending. Anyway, time to discuss how we felt about this episode. This episode's kind of a weird one because I think the story is like a little bit messy. Like we've talked about it, how like Mr. Krabs' punishment doesn't feel deserved. But I do think it has pretty solid jokes throughout. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do think this is an episode I enjoyed watching still, even despite some questionable plot choices. Part of me feels like this is like sort of a 5 out of 7 episode, but like if it got one more pass, I think it could have gone higher.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of where I stand on it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a pretty great episode in here, and I still think it's like good. I definitely think the jokes do carry it, but you know.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 7 as well. It's not like the best. The pacing is a bit, and yeah, the payoff is a bit weird. Yeah. It's a good episode, and it's one of the ones I remember the most watching.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not the best, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm also in the 5 out of 7 camp. I did bash it a lot. It's still a fun episode with like a lot of really solid gags and very like memorable overall. I just think it's like it has like 6 out of 7 gags and like 4 out of 7 or lower story. So like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's definitely like an episode of high highs. It just doesn't like meet every benchmark well.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll also give it a 5 out of 7 for a lot of the same reasons that it balances itself out between the bad stuff and the good stuff. Where like all the jokes in this, like, or almost all of them at least, they hit and they're really good. Like Scottish guy, I love Scottish guy.
This episode would be
And-
nothing without Scottish guy.
It would be like a whole point lower to me if there was no Scottish guy in this. But yeah, the story thing is weird how like characters just disappear for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
The Patrick one is especially distracting, but it's something. It's a watch. I'd sit down and I wouldn't skip over it.
Yeah. And I think that's a good way to like separate a 5 from like a 4 is. Would I skip over this one? I mean, I still don't know how much I'd skip over 4s, but
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'd actively choose to go back and watch them, while here it's like, I could see myself being in the mood for this episode still.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I guess that's all we had to say. We've made back to school fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how are we going to do it again next time?
Well, we're
Um,
going to do it by reviewing the episodes Grandma's Kisses and Squidville.
Okay, now
Hmm.
those two are going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
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 Some interesting stuff coming up.
Yeah. So everybody give it up for the #1 SpongeBob podcast 11 years in a row.
Yeah.
The #1 cable network, 11 straight years. #1 entertainment
Brand for kids.
#1 in license.
The #1 website for kids. And the most watched kid show in history, starring
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Back to school.
Back to school is exciting, SpongeBob. You learn new things, meet new people, and get cool new stuff. We're gonna take
Back to school and make it back to school.
Nickelodeon
and Kellogg's for a wild
Back to school.
2007 promotion.
How can you make going back to school
Back to
fun?
school. Look at these cool Nick pencil toppers.
They're us, and they're us.
Look, Patrick, you're
us.
And there's a Nick challenge. Can we have a contest to see who can do this the longest?
Get time, Patrick.
Patrick, Nick will get to drive the
School bus display! This next school bus is going to make going to school a blast! Whoa! Nice run! This is just all too great! Let's kick it off by sliming someone! I love slime, but all those people might not know what slime is! Good point, Patrick! Let's show them! That's slime, all right! Now, how about we count someone you all know and love? Ready, Kevin? You didn't think Kevin would really let us count him, do you?